Um. Hello, I'd like to call to order the Monroe County Plat Committee meeting, November 16th to order. We have one item of business, North Park area, B3 subdivision preliminary plat, Lot 3, Amendment 1, case number SPP-23-3. I'm going to assume that's Ann Crecilius's
And I'll just confirm that we have an in-person quorum with Jeff Morris and Tron Enright.
awesome. And then one other quick note is this is a recommendation. So since it's a recommendation, we will not be taking public comment. And this will be moving forward to the full plan commission. If you would like to speak there, if anyone came to speak, which I'm gonna guess there might not be anyone attending virtually, is there?
I think there's one person.
One person, okay. So if that person came for this case, you will have a time to speak, but that will be our regular plan commission meeting. Unless you're the petitioner, and there's always the time for the petitioner to talk. All right, with that, Ann, please take it away.
Thank you. Okay, so we are looking at North Stone Carver Drive. With the rundown full location map. So this is currently platted in North Park Area B3 subdivision preliminary plat. They're proposing to amend the Lot 3 preliminary plat. Because the request includes public improvements, it is a preliminary plat amendment versus a final plat amendment. The request includes a street tree waiver for street trees along Westwood Yard Road. So the petitioner is Indiana University Health Bloomington, care of Brian Faneuil and Associates. So it is within the North Park PUD. It's 14.53 acres currently. So run down, I'm gonna zip all around this report here. I'm gonna show the current plat. So this is the current plat. We had kind of a mention of future dedicated right of way, but it's not truly dedicated here. So this is lot 3 at 14 acres. So the property gains access from North Stone Carver Drive, which is connected to North Lintel Drive, which is connected to Hurd Pike. I'll jump back up here. So this request accomplishes 3 actions. The first is dedicating the right of way for North Stone Carver Drive road extension. So going south from North Stone Carver Drive, connecting to Westwood Yard Road. It includes the proposal of those construction plans for the road extension. And then also, since we're here, it's proposing that lot 3, instead of being one lot that has a road going through it, that it's actually split into 2 lots. So they're amending to create a buildable lot, so it would become lot 3A and lot 3B with this request. Okay, so by splitting the lot 3, both lots will be they contain under 7 acres. One will be 6, one will be 7 approximately acres. They both would contain multiple acres of buildable area. So in the North Park PUD, there's my note. The road extension is required to be built out under the transportation section 8. So it states that a local road connection shall be made between the yet unnamed frontage road connecting Curry Pike and Packing House Road to Woodyard Road, and that this connection shall be completed prior to any land use certificates or certificates of occupancy of approval for 50% of the acreage and use district fee. So again, to the north and east of the property, we have North Park PUD, either vacant or undeveloped or commercial and developed. We have 2 different kind of healthcare facility uses to the north and off of North Lintel Drive. And then to the south and the west, we have residential and also vacant. So Woodyard Road is a major collector. And Stone Carver and Lintel roads are local roads. Property, looking at site condition, property is mainly under 15% slopes. There is a 16-foot electric underground line easement, and then along West Woodyard Road is a 100-foot overhead utility easement by Duke. So that is the petitioner's findings for the waiver request for street trees. So street trees could possibly hinder the overhead utility lines that planted along Westwood Yard. Staff is supporting the waivers findings of fact. The first time this was platted in 2021, so still fairly, that first plat was still fairly recent. They had that same waiver request. It was approved. The first, so it was approved, it was waived with the condition that 24 trees be preserved or planted on lot 3 in lieu of the street trees. And then there was a note that said, please submit please submit tree locations and species list to complete the preliminary plat review. So we would like, when I get to the conditions of our support, we would like to see that condition roll over and continue to see the preservation of those trees. Or if you have a recommendation for any further requirements that you might think appropriate, they are stating that they will do street trees along both sides of the Stone Harbor Drive road extension. So that's great. And then there's also sidewalks required along all of the roads. So they are saying that they will construct sidewalks along Westwood Yard and then along North Stone Harbor Drive as well. So pictometry, that's Stone Harbor Drive. The road would approximately go south and connect to Woodyard. This road, Google Road View is showing the overhead utility lines. So the comprehensive plan identifies this area as employment, so so far this request, the petition request and waiver request is fairly consistent with what we see here, which is like expansion of sewer systems, sidewalks, access to a major interstate or road, help better street connections to distribute traffic, mixed use corridors. So that's all pretty consistent here with the North Park PD and the Nakua plan. Then I jump down to the preliminary plat proposal. So road location changed a little bit, but not much. I'm going to now jump to the construction plans. So a little more detail. We don't necessarily have a stormwater review yet, but we will have one, I'm sure, before Planning Commission. I think there was one note, or there were some edits by the Monroe County Highway Engineer Paul Satterley, but I saw no overwhelming comment or issue with the plans. Paul, of course, is online, so he can correct me if I'm wrong. The Highway Department project manager has received 2 right-of-way activity permits. And so, it would be a construction bond, so they've already requested a surety, so that seems in line. Both of these lots would have access to sewer, which would be the city of Bloomington. Electricity would be Duke Energy, and then, I'm sorry, water is city of Bloomington, sewer is South Central Regional Sewer District. And let's see if I'm missing anything else. Because the infrastructure, the construction plans are so large, they are just a link in your exhibit packet. Here we can see proposed grades, and then I believe the next couple, we've got the proposed street trees along the road extension. So coming back to the recommendation, I go back to my file so it's on screen. So staff is recommending forwarding a positive recommendation for the North Park Area B3 subdivision preliminary plat, lot 3 amendment 1, and the street tree waiver request with the following conditions. The first is that to submit a stormwater management plan for the use area B before recording of the final plat. So this is something that's required under the North Park ordinance for, I think it was at the time of the first development plan in a use area. And that is something that staff has not been able to locate. We did locate, so there's 2 requirements in this section of the North Park ordinance. One of them is submit an open space plan for a use area, and then the other one is submit a stormwater infrastructure plan for that use area. So we have a very detailed open space plan that was done, but we haven't found a stormwater management plan. So that's North Park PUD ordinance section 3.1C. So I did some pretty extensive digging in files, haven't found evidence of it. There have been multiple, this will be the third, no. There's 2 development plans that have been fully completed in this use area, so. That's just an area of the ordinance that's lacking. The second condition would be to add sidewalks along West Woodyard. That was a question, the petitioner's representative cleared that up for me, they are proposing, so mainly it's just add those sidewalks to the infrastructure plan. Making sure they're there. Confirm or just provide consent from Duke Energy that the sidewalks are permitted within the overhead utility easement. I might just be missing that when I read over the easement, so just confirming, or if it's not necessarily specified, obtain consent from Duke. The fourth would be, address the original plat conditions of approval for the 24 planted or preserved trees, and then I included the original 2021 results letter as exhibit 5 for reference. Number 5 is increase street tree species to a total of 5 species from the approved street tree list of chapter 830. Right now, there's only 3 tree species that would be planted along, Stone Carver extension, and nice just to be slightly more variety. And then number 6 is just provide planning staff with a timeline of utility integration, which I think we did not necessarily, you see utilities involved with the construction plans. Is that right, Tammy?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if like sewer was going to be integrated and sewer and water, not at this time, so they'll definitely be going in on easements that are gonna be platted.
Depending on what happens there, we depend on how we sewer this area.
Mhm.
If they build up towards Little, then they'll probably just tie it because the sanitary runs right across the middle part of these lots.
Yeah.
If they're built back further, then we would probably put pump stations, either one pump station or both, or individual pump station. That's to be worked out, depending on what they end up building.
Okay.
Okay, so having that explanation just quickly written up would be fantastic, and that would totally satisfy condition 6. I think I've covered everything, maybe somewhat quickly. Do you have questions?
Still absorbing everything. I definitely didn't have too much lead time to like dive into this. I do remember a lot of these discussions, and they were quite extensive. A lot of it was focused around making sure we got those 2 points of ingress and egress, which it looks like that road is still going to be put into place. And I guess everything else, it looks like planning is pretty much comfortable. They want to roll over the tree waiver. And was there anything else that we need to kind of dig into and consider? And ultimately, this is going to be just a recommendation from us. So I think anything that could clarify some of what the conditions are or need and prior to the planning commission meeting will be very helpful before everyone starts looking at it, because discussions can take a lot longer, just to maybe help expedite it. Yes, you wanted.
So we have the highway department here and then the sport coordinator.
Well, it sounds like them as sport coordinator doesn't have any reviews quite yet, or has that changed, Kelsey? Because I was kind of curious about that, but Anne commented that you may not be ready. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, in general, this new roadway and the development will need to meet our chapter 761 requirements. It'll go through drainage board approval and drainage plan review. I haven't had a lot of time to dive into what's been submitted so far, but in general, that's the procedure. So that's what I'll be looking for in this review.
And I guess one thing, and I'm not sure if you already touched on it, when you were talking about a drainage plan, or stormwater plan, like, that's not what Kelsey's necessarily looking or wanting to review. How are we supposed to find that plan? Like you said, you were looking for it, you weren't able to find it. Who's supposed to submit it? Or should we make sure that we have that before proceeding, or as part of our conditions?
I'm requesting that they create one.
And was that one of your conditions in here?
Yes.
Okay.
From what I can tell, I have no evidence that one was ever submitted. Why? I don't know. I haven't found evidence of that either. But technically, yeah, it should be on file and I haven't found it.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
I have one, it's more of a curiosity, and you mentioned that there was gonna be a packing house road frontage extension, is that gonna tie into the intersection there at Lentil and Stone Carver?
Did I say packing house?
That was in a different position, right?
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna,
Have I said packing house at some point?
this
thought I
one
read
could
packing house
connect to
This
Lentil.
road here will go down to where Vernal Pike used to tie in the back of the house.
Okay, so it's gonna be at the very corner of this property, that it's not gonna have much impact on the. Okay,
I think what would be helpful is maybe if we could just quickly go through some of kind of the petition from 2021. Just highlight notes and things, and that just for Mr. Morrison's benefit, because I don't think you were on the plan commission then, and this has been discussed in a number of different ways, and I'm pretty familiar with a lot of it, but anything that could be beneficial for him to touch on would, I guess I'd ask.
So I understand, I just remembered, okay, where the packing house part comes from. Thank you. That is the quote from the North Park PUD where it talks about the transportation plan on page 4. So ultimately, right, so we've got the proposed extension here, and in this same bullet point under the ordinance, it also refers to a connection here. So this is packing house.
And it
So-
branches up.
Yes, there's also a road extension expected to go up and over and all the way up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if that's, because in here at the top of page 4, it says that connection shall be made. Prior to any land use certificates or certificates of occupancy approval of 50% of the acreage. In District B, and I'm just wondering if that is going to hold up anything here on the use of.
so if they were,
100% right
correct, so if they were applying for a development plan for one of these lots, that's when we would say you need to build this road. So
Okay.
in order for them to be able to sell properties or submit those development plans, they've got to put the road in first.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I guess if Paul has anything he would like to share, since we're talking a lot about the right of way and road connections. He's usually a telephone number that calls him.
Yeah, his iPhone, if you could allow his, Paul's iPhone to be unmuted.
that's done. Double check. No, I haven't tried it. I'll talk.
We should be good. There you go, Paul.
Aha, here I am.
Aha, yes.
Yeah, the only thing is we've got, we did a plan review of the Stone Carver Drive, and I think we haven't seen the revisions yet, but it's pretty close to being okay. A few minor tweaks, and then, of course, we don't want any trees in between the curb and the sidewalk, so that's kind of the
That might, is that a
basic
requirement?
comments for us there.
It might be a requirement. I would have to check the ordinance. Well,
I can check the tree location, could be a requirement, okay.
mhm.
Well, it's,
Yeah, he's
it's been kind of a nightmare, even in this development with the trees growing up and pushing up the asphalt sidewalks and things like that. So it's a maintenance problem.
Yeah, I'll check that ordinance, Paul, and I'll make sure to comment that to you and AJ.
I have no further questions. I do think this will be discussed more extensively as it moves forward, so I'll kind of reserve those for the larger group. I'll open it up to the petitioner's representative if you would like to share. I'm not sure.
I don't have a lot to add other than the fact that this road extension that's always been planned, pretty much has to be where it's at. We did change the alignment slightly from the previous drawings, so make sure we had the right access point on the winter. Water will be extended along with the road, that the CBU requirement. And then I've explained the sanitary sewer, we just don't know which way to go with that yet. As far as I know, there's no immediate plans to develop on either side, it's just a matter of getting the road in.
Great. I guess we'll bring it back. I can see that the only attendee is actually, a county, person, so, I'll open it up to the public, or no, wait, never mind, it's a recommendation. Get ahead of myself, so, with that, are you wanting to make a recommendation, move it forward? I feel comfortable with, supporting the staff's conditions and making the recommendation.
Yeah, I can make a motion. if you want to. So for case SPP 23 I move that we forward a positive recommendation for the North Park Area B3 subdivision preliminary plat lot 3 amendment 1 and the street tree waiver request with the following conditions. 1, submit a stormwater management plan for use area B before recording the final plat. The stormwater management plan was required at the time of the first development plan under the North Park PUD ordinance section 3.1C. Planning staff was unable to locate the document. 2, add sidewalks along West Woodyard Road to the infrastructure plan. 3, confirm or provide consent from Duke Energy that sidewalks are permitted within the overhead utility easement. 4, address original plat condition of approval for 24 planted or preserved street trees. 5, increase street tree species to total of 5 species from the street tree list of chapter 830. And 6, provide planning staff with a timeline of utility regulation.
I'd be curious if you'd be, is that a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd be curious if you'd, I plan to second your motion regardless, but since it's the two of us, I don't want you to think that this is, baked in. But if you, yeah, well, if you would accept a friendly amendment, condition to, stormwater and highway review, as well.
And that is absolutely required no matter what.
Is it? I
Yes.
know, I just like to put it on there since it seems like they still wanna look it over, so.
Yeah, I can accept that.
Okay, it's a little redundant. I'm really used to that always being part of the recommendations in there, so. All right, well, we have I'll second, so we have a motion and a second. And if you'd like to.
Call the roll, I can call the roll. This is, vote in favor is a vote to approve the North Park Area B3 subdivision preliminary plat and partial waiver for street trees. Tron Enright Randall,
Yes,
and that's with, 6 conditions plus your friendly amendment. Does that make it 7 conditions? Or do you just want it as part of the,
yeah, I mean, it's still,
I think it's 6 conditions, but just adding the highway and.
yeah, it just kind of throws another little reminder of, you know, on there.
All right, so you were a yes and Jeff Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
And that brings us to the end of the meeting. I will say this isn't the fastest, but we're pretty darn close to one of the quickest. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up, Tammy or Ann while we're here? Nope. All right, then move for adjournment. Awesome, we're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Next
And
month.
thank you.